Nah, this can't be real. This cannot be real. Is this the only time we've ever seen a situation like this happen? Where a player has been suspended, not for a game, for a half.
A half-game suspension? That's it? Angel Reese just pulled off something executives are calling not only rare, but flat-out unprecedented in the WNBA. She publicly torched her own teammates and coach, Tyler Marsh. No team meeting. No quiet locker room grumbling. She named names, went all in, and let the whole world hear it.
Because as we know, Angel Reese earlier in the week, in an interview, threw her Chicago Sky teammates under a bus and then ran the bus over them, and then backed up the bus, bouncing over them again, and then proceeded to drive over them one more good time, just to be sure that their carcasses were no longer twitching.
And what did the Chicago Sky do? They hit her with the lightest slap on the wrist possible. A suspension for just the first half of their September 7th matchup against the defending champion, Las Vegas Aces, plus a $20 fine, $20 and 30 minutes on the bench. That's the official punishment.
But this goes to show you they have got to be, and the WNBA as an organization, the Chicago Sky as an organization, you've got to be a bunch of cowards. You literally gave her a half a game. That's all you gave her. That's all you gave her.
Fans are furious. The timeline is already exploding. Half a game feels less like a suspension and more like a coffee break. For an offense this bold, going scorched earth on your own squad, people are demanding something bigger, louder, and longer. Whole season bans are being floated.
I'd have suspended her for the rest of the season. I'd have sent a clear message. And if it pissed her off enough she wanted to trade, good. Get her selfish butt the hell out of town. I mean, let's be honest. They're not really any better with her anyway.
Some say this isn't just about Angel Reese. It's about the message the WNBA is sending. Is accountability real, or is this all for show? Let's get into what Angel Reese said.
For lack of a better way of putting it, shit all over her teammates. Or as some people might call it, drown her teammates. And her teammates are none too happy, nor should they be.
Imagine being a young player and looking your teammates in the eye, then walking straight to a microphone and saying, "We need great players." That's exactly what Angel Reese did. She didn't vent privately. She put it in front of reporters, where her words immediately spread across social media and news outlets.
Quote, "I'd like to be here for my career, but if things don't pan out, obviously I might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me. It's all about me." From there, Reese dissected the Sky's roster, calling out specific teammates by name and expressing her desire for Marsh to coach the team harder. She was quoted multiple times saying, quote, "We need great players."
And the most striking part? She singled out Courtney Vandersloot, a veteran point guard who's one of the most respected players in the league. Reese openly wondered if Vandersloot could return to form at the age she's at after her injury, which many took as essentially calling her washed. On top of that, Reese hinted the team needed to move past its veterans and bring in younger, higher-level talent if they wanted any chance at winning a title.
She questioned whether veteran point guard Courtney Vandersloot was capable of returning to form, quote, "at the age she's at." All right, we're going for ageism now. This is unbelievable. After tearing her ACL 7 games into the season, she went on to say, quote, "We need someone probably a little younger with some experience, somebody who's been playing the game and is willing to compete for a championship and has done it before." She tried to drown a legend. Oh, okay.
That kind of talk is not normal. Behind closed doors, every team argues. Guys in the NBA and players in the WNBA yell at each other, maybe even fight at practice. That's the culture of competitive sports. But what they don't do is blast teammates in front of cameras by name. Reese broke that unwritten code, and she did it before she's proven she can even hold down a consistent starting role at this level.
According to the report, Reese said she doesn't believe her teammates, Rachel Banham or Haley Van Lith, are capable of leading a playoff team. Remember that look that Haley Van Lith had when she got drafted to Chicago?
Then she went after her coach, Tyler Marsh, saying the team wasn't being pushed hard enough. Think about that for a moment. A young player suggesting the head coach isn't tough enough. That type of public shot is almost unheard of in the WNBA, especially from someone who hasn't earned the superstar status to even attempt it.
Me Bounds is all about Me Bounds. She's all about herself, her brand, her fans, and F the Chicago Sky. She wants out of town because she thinks her teammates are straight trash, homie. Straight trash, homie.
Marsh, to his credit, didn't fire back. Instead, he told reporters the team was addressing it in-house and acknowledged they were fully aware of her comments. That kind of calm response from the coach showed restraint, but it also spotlighted how disruptive Reese's words were. Because when a coach has to answer for a rookie's press conference instead of the game, something's already broken. League insiders flat out said they'd never seen anything like it. Not from a rookie, not this early into a career. Usually, it's stars with MVPs or veterans nearing the end of contracts who put management on notice publicly. Reese doesn't get that benefit of the doubt. Fans flipped on her in real time. People who praised her for grit a week earlier were suddenly calling her selfish, a coach killer, and someone who would destroy a locker room.
And look, Tyler Marsh, he may end up getting fired. Angel Reese, a coach killer? Is that what's going on here? It seems she might be a coach and a teammate killer.
That's the kind of reputation that sticks, and it's brutal to shake when you're only 2 years into your pro career. The fallout didn't stop there.
Multiple league sources told Front Office Sports the entire team had seen Reese's comments and that teammates are unhappy with the direct attack. I'm sure they're unhappy. They're unhappy with the direct attacks. A team meeting is planned at which players are expected to address Reese directly.
That's right. Chicago's front office called an emergency team meeting to deal with the backlash. Think about that. One rookie's comments were so disruptive that executives stepped in immediately to cool things off. Reporters covering the Sky said this wasn't just about one mistake, but a sign of a real culture clash brewing inside the franchise. Veterans against a brash rookie, coaches trying to keep authority, fans suddenly divided.
There's liable to be a fight in there. Quote, "We are aware of it," Marsh said at a pregame press conference Thursday. Quote, "We're addressing it in-house as currently speaking. That's where we'll stay right now." This is unfreaking believable.
And while Reese may have thought she was just being honest, the Sky's next move was even more shocking, because when it came time for punishment, the team decided to set a precedent that made absolutely no sense. The Chicago Sky's decision caught everyone's attention because of how unusual it was. In their official announcement, the team said Angel Reese will not play in the first half of the game on September 7th against the Las Vegas Aces, and added that she had been fined $20. Yes, $20. That was the entire punishment.
I've never seen this before, where she is getting suspended for a half. Not a game. Not a game. One half.
Alongside that, the statement used some strong language about the organization valuing safety, respect, and well-being, and being committed to accountability. The problem is obvious, and when you match those serious words with a half-game suspension and a token fine, the disconnect is glaring.
It says here, the Chicago Sky values safety, respect, and well-being of every player. We're committed to accountability so our players can stay focused on playing basketball. Because of statements made by Angel Reese during league-mandated media,
fans immediately called it out. Commentators on social media labeled the suspension a joke and a slap on the wrist. Reporters who cover the league echoed the same thing. If a rookie publicly criticizes veterans by name, questions a coach's toughness, and creates such a disruption that management has to step in, then holding her out for one half doesn't feel like accountability. Instead, it looks like the team protecting a star prospect instead of upholding the values they claimed in their own statement. There's another part of the Sky's statement that raised eyebrows. They said Reese's comments were made during league-mandated media. On paper, that phrase makes sense. Players are required to speak to the media, but people who followed the story quickly noticed something strange. Her remarks were given in an interview with a local paper, and some commentators questioned whether that really counted as league mandated. By putting in that phrasing, the team may have accidentally added more confusion about how they were framing the situation.
It is what it is, I guess. It is what it is. They have suspended her for a half. Like, they could not have done this worse. I mean this, suspending her for a game would not have looked as bad. Look, you know what? If they suspended her for a game, you could complain being like, oh, you know, you're really suspending a player on a team who sucks for saying the team sucks. Like, it's one thing if that's the case. But now you've got that argument and you've got people laughing about how ridiculous it is that you've suspended her for a half.
When you step back and look at the optics, it's almost comical. A half-game suspension doesn't exist anywhere else in major pro sports. Imagine an NBA player getting benched for just 2 quarters after publicly shredding his team. That's why the penalty rang so hollow. The Sky could have chosen a full game suspension, a meaningful fine, or something substantial to show they meant what they said about respect and accountability. Instead, they found themselves getting roasted online for sending the exact opposite message, that dragging your teammates in the press leads to a punishment that barely compares to being late for practice.
The WNBA is weak. The Chicago Sky are getting destroyed by both sides. People like me that's like, this is a benign half a game, nothing, no accountability. I mean, come on. That's crazy. They fined her $20 as well. It's hilarious.
The backlash only got louder when Chicago made another misstep. Fans noticed that the official team account started blocking critics on social media. One of the names blocked, Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports. He runs one of the most visible sports platforms in the country, so blocking him didn't silence criticism, and it amplified it. Moves like that suggested an organization trying to hide the storm instead of controlling it.
The owner of Barstool Sports, one of the biggest sports platforms in the country, this morning he is on Fox Sports, big noon kickoff for college football, owns Barstool, has, I believe, 3 or 4 of the most listened to podcasts in the country in sports, in the top 10. And he decided to comment about this, and he found out the Chicago Sky has blocked him. This league does not want to grow.
And that's the real problem. The suspension didn't calm things down. It poured more fuel on the fire. Instead of shifting the focus back to basketball, the Sky made themselves part of the story. And now people are starting to wonder if this whole fiasco says less about Reese herself and more about the kind of franchise culture Chicago is building.
I think you could I genuinely think if Angel Reese, seeing how she was after the game, I would say her teammates were not happy with that, and rightfully so. I genuinely think you could have probably explained it to her and been like, look, we have to suspend you for a game for this. Like, look, obviously, with how it's affected the team, we can't just allow this to keep happening just on principle. We have to suspend you for a game.
Here's the bigger issue. The mess with Angel Reese points back to a pattern the Chicago Sky have wrestled with for years. It's not just about one player sounding off or a suspension that made no sense. This franchise has a history of seeing its stars walk out the door.
The Chicago Sky have a long history of star players requesting trades or leaving as free agents for greener pastures. Alina Deladon and Sylvia Fowles were two of the first franchise stars to force their way out 2021 Finals MVP Kaylee Copper was another. Marina Mabry forced a mid-season trade that landed her.
That's right. Elena Del Don left. Sylvia Fowles left. Kalea Copper left. Marina Mabray left. These weren't role players. These were cornerstones. Names you could build a team around. And yet, one after another, they moved on. That's the context that makes Reese's outburst stand out. It feels like the latest sign of a franchise that hasn't figured out how to keep elite players aligned with the organization.
There was a lot of drama there. Oh, and Angel was on that team, by the way.
Instead of facing that track record head on, the Sky are now navigating headlines about a former rookie torching her own teammates in public while the front office releases vague statements. Reese didn't tiptoe around her frustration or frame it as a long-term concern. She aired it in front of cameras, in the middle of the season, hitting veterans and coaches who are still with the team. That's what separates this from the usual star player trade demand. You don't usually see a rookie lighting the locker room on fire before year one is even finished. And yet, executives around the league don't view her the way she seems to view herself. According to Front Office Sports, multiple WNBA executives called Reese's comments unprecedented. They also said that on a true championship roster, she would likely project as a third or fourth option, not the franchise centerpiece. That mismatch between how she acts, like the face of the team, and how decision makers value her creates a huge disconnect. Her voice has sounded bigger than her on-court impact so far, and insiders are noticing it.
I undoubtedly have issues as a franchise. They were pegged in the Athletics Anonymous Players as the worst run franchise in the league.
To her credit, she did issue an apology afterward, saying she was frustrated with herself, but it read more like public relations damage control than a player taking real ownership. Listen to this.
So, Angel put this out. Apologetically, Angel. Quote, I don't think I'm frustrated with the team or organization. I think I'm frustrated with myself. I didn't intentionally mean to put down my teammates. You drowned them underwater until they were dead, Angel. Publicly, with your words. Let's not get confused. They showed up for me through thick and thin, and you drowned them. I want to apologize to my teammates. I already have. I just have to be better with my language. What can I say? What I say can be taken any type of way, and I want to grow from this.
Fans and teammates can sense the difference. An apology like that doesn't glue a locker room back together. It just signals you know how bad the fallout looks. That makes it harder to trust the intent moving forward.
There's no confusion. There's no confusion. You shit all over your teammates publicly. You weren't confused. You didn't get taken out of context.
Meanwhile, the Sky are presenting a different image. Coach Tyler Marsh told reporters the organization continues to show commitment and is developing a foundation for sustainable growth. On paper, that sounds like long-term planning, but set that against Reese blasting veterans, management blocking media critics online, and a suspension that landed like a joke, and the picture doesn't look steady.
Quote, Angel has shown commitment to wanting to be here, Marsh said. We, as an organization, continue to show commitment that we want people that want to be here. We are developing a foundation that we want to be sustainable, where we're able to be a premier destination for all players. What have I been telling you guys from the very damn beginning? I mean, honestly, she's a character actor.
That gap between what leadership says and what people see from the outside is exactly why questions about culture won't go away. So let's be real. This brings up two questions. Fans are already debating. Is this just a rookie with an attitude problem, or is it a symptom of a deeper management and culture issue inside the Sky? And if other teams start to view Reese as a locker room risk before she's even established as a star, what does that mean for her future in the league? Those questions matter because they push this conversation beyond one suspension or one rookie misstep and set the stage for what people are starting to realize about Chicago itself.
She gonna mess around and find herself out of the league.
The Angel Reese situation showed more than rookie frustration. It exposed how shaky things look inside Chicago. Her public shots hurt the locker room, and the Sky's half-game suspension sent the message that accountability depends on who you are, not what you do. Pair that with Chicago's history of stars leaving, and it points to real franchise issues. My recommendation recommendation. The Sky need clear, consistent discipline, better internal channels for players to voice frustration, and a real culture that develops talent while protecting team chemistry. But what do you think? Was half a game enough? Or does this fall on the Sky's culture? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want more breakdowns like this, hit subscribe.